Hello, I'm Dr. Harper. This video is on Operations Management BANA 3000 section E02, and this is on project instructions. So let's bring up the instruction Word file. And so first I start with the information from the syllabus. And these are going to be individual project reports. Each student is required to conduct independent research and submit an originally composed individual project report. Now, what I mean by independent research, or conduct research and submit originally composed project. Conduct research, you can certainly work with people, and I encourage collaboration. You can work in groups, you can start working on these things together, and that's fine. But submit an originally composed individual project report. These reports must be individualized. In other words, you don't write them together. You write them. You can work together, but you write them separately. Each person writes their own report. No work is accepted after the end of the course. Each student must perform their own work. The individual project report is 3 pages and submitted as a PDF through Canvas. Now, there are 2 options that you can select for the individual project report. Let's make this a little bigger here. There we go, that's better. Option 1 is to select one of the assignment memos provided during the course, which is in this Word file. Solve the problem, present the solution in one PDF consisting of 3 pages. The first page is the assignment memo that I provide that introduces the request. The second page is a response memo that you prepare to respond to the requests in the assignment memo you selected. The third page is a technical memo that outlines the technical approach you took in obtaining the quantitative material in the response memo you submitted. Both the response memo and the technical memo are limited to only 1 page each. Be very careful. That includes graphs, tables, 1 page, and that's all. So the first page is down below, which I'll show you 3 examples, 3 options, memos 1, memo 2, memo 3. You can pick any one of those if you want to, but then your response memo responding to the request to the client should be 1 page. The technical memo saying here's how I worked the problem, 1 page. Option 2 is to conduct research on an aspect of a topic from the list provided on the website, mdharper.com, and submit your report as a PDF consisting of 3 pages. Okay, we'll go to here. We'll go to the mdharper.com in just a moment. This option is provided because some students wish to perform research on topics beyond the course. There are 3 conditions for the individual project report research topic in this option. 1, a research topic based on material related to the course, specifically not a subject from another discipline. I don't want something from finance or marketing, something in operations. 2, a research topic beyond the material covered in this course. Not the same material presented in this course, but a broader or deeper. What I do not want, and I will count off, if someone will redo what I said. Don't redo what I said. Go deeper, go broader, do something I didn't. There's a lot of things in here. I didn't cover everything in this topic by any means. I laid a foundation. So you can go deeper in it, you can go broader, you can do something I didn't cover. But do not just say what I said. Do not do that. I'll count off. 3, a research topic that is interesting to you, and I think that's the most important thing. Something you'd find interesting in doing. Something you would like to go deeper on, and something you'd like to do. Whether it's option 1 or option 2, something that sounds interesting. The list provided on the website represents suggestions and acceptable resources for research topics. So let's go there. So let's bring up Canvas. Here's Canvas. You come down to the my website, mdharper.com. Open that up. Here's the Operations Management tab. If we come down here at the bottom, down here, here are the project lists. Okay, each project title represents a research area to explore, beginning with the links to the resources and topics listed as for a person. These are just suggestions. Okay. For example, project 1 is forecasting. We covered forecasting in here. Well, here's a book. If you click this, it goes to Amazon. And this book is a very good introductory level book to talk about forecasting. Now notice in that book, there's multiple chapters. Person 1 could do judgment, chapter 4. Person 2 could do REMA models, chapter 8. Nonlinear trends, chapter 5. Graphical techniques, chapter 2. So here's 4. There could be more. And here's what I mean by working in a group. If you work in a group on forecasting with this, you can work in a group, but then each person takes something different, and you apply it that way. Project 2, business process management, and this looks at I think that's this is Harmon. This is a very good business process book. We talked a little bit about processes at the beginning, but also in scheduling, where you had a queuing system. That's a process. Okay, the next is, and there's different enterprise level, process level, implementation level. Analytics. Some people want to go deeper into the analytics. Okay, I think this is a book by, let's see here, who's the author here? Cochran and Fry. Oh, I remember that. Yeah, this is a good coverage. All different kinds of analytics, and many of these apply to operations. Okay, Anderson is a author in also in operations in business. Okay, if you notice down here in business analytics, we'll have descriptive, predictive, prescriptive, decision analytics, etc. Oh, some people are really interested in sustainability. That's operations too. This book looks at making sustainable work, and this is an operations approach to sustainability within an organization. Okay, then, and there's different overview, measuring, improving, reporting, quality management. Here's a book on quality management, TQM, total quality management, concepts and case studies. And so I picked this book because there's so many different things you can do in that book. Overview, tools, Six Sigma, QFD, but also case studies. And then project management. Now, this book I use at my graduate level in teaching project management. It's a very good practical book, Effective Project Management by Wysocki. Now, this book, you get what is a project, what is a project management, so you can go do anything in project management. And then supply chain management, I teach out of this book. This is I use this as an essential, Hugo's. I don't teach out of this book. I use it as a supplement. But it's a very good introductory text. I use another text that goes deeper into the analytics and also into the strategies. But this is a very simple overview text that gives you a good idea in supply chain management. And then I have a B list. You have professional organizations. Some people want to be certified in production control, in S&OP or aggregate planning, forecasting, quality control, and there may be others. So maybe you want to look at certification. How do you become certified? Now, a degree is different than a certification. A degree is a foundation, a broad foundation. A certification is a focused capability. Here's another forecasting, different forecasting text. This is a little different approach. Optimization, a little different approach to analytics. Goal programming. I put this in here because this is a very big optimization technique. Manufacturing planning and control. Executive sales and operations planning. This is not just aggregate planning. It looks at the corporate level. Okay, so there's so many different possibilities here. These are just suggestions. Okay. The originally composed individual report for either option must be 3 pages and must demonstrate the student's knowledge and ability to effectively communicate the knowledge appropriate for a business environment. And I want to emphasize a business environment because many students will write for an academic environment. This is not an academic paper, it's a business paper. So write to a business person. Now, if you've never done that before, think about it and try to be informative. Don't teach. If you're not talking to me, you're talking to in a business environment. Each individual project must be unique. Every person writes their own. Now, at this point, a lot of times there are students from another country where English is their second language. They feel uncomfortable trying to write. You can get help, but I want you to write it yourself because I don't really grade, and I don't mind the grammar is not exactly how you would do it in America. That doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is the content, that you say what you know, and you say it in a business sense. That's what's important to me. And option 1, the length of the report must be 3 pages. Only 1 page for each memo. The text, graphs, and charts must be contained within 1 page for each memo. The response memo and technical memo. More than 1 page for a memo and more than 3 pages submitted will be a reduction of points, so be very careful. Option 2, the length again is 3 pages, following the guideline of succinct but adequate. The text, graphs, charts must be contained within the 3 pages again. Material that exceeds 3 pages will not be considered and result in a reduction of points. Submit the originally composed individual report through Canvas as a PDF file, a 3-page PDF file, on and before the due date and time. No late reports accepted. Be very careful. After May 15th, I don't accept anything. You get a 0. Each report may only be submitted once, may only be submitted as a complete report, and must be submitted by the due date and time. A report not submitted has a grade of 0. Each student is required to submit original material for their individual report. Although collaboration is encouraged to conduct research, collaboration does not include copying from another student or allowing a student to copy from you on individual work that is submitted. In other words, it's academic dishonesty if you copy from someone or let someone copy from you or let someone see your paper. Don't let anyone see your paper. You write and you submit. Let them write and they submit. You don't share written paper, written submissions. You can share research. You can talk about what you've learned. You can talk to them. But the writing is individual and original. Okay. Submission of individual project reports. First of all, option 1. Submit your report through Canvas. Each response memo and technical memo must be no more than 1 page in length. The assignment memo, the response memo, and the technical memo must be submitted together in 1 PDF file. Submit only 3 pages, no title page, no attachments, no appendices, and submit through Canvas. The response memo and technical memo are required to be composed in a professional manner, typed, dated, etc., adhering to the following common format. In other words, this is the header information. You have the assignment memo, whether it's 1, 2, or 3, whatever it is. The original date, whenever you submit it, associates appropriate title. It's in the assignment memo. And here's your content. That's 1 page. The response memo will be 1 page. The technical memo will be 1 page. Okay? And I'll talk about the 3 assignment memos here in just a second. Now, option 2 here, submit your report through Canvas as a PDF file. Do not use a cover page, but use the title below as a first page where the student supplies information. In other words, this is header information, not a cover page. Not a cover page. This is header information. The project title of student's individual report, what's your title? And then this individual project report submitted as partial fulfillment of requirements for operations management course at UCD. And your student's name, date, and then down here's your content, 3 pages. Okay. So that's the format. Now, I've already talked about option 2 in my website, but what about option 1? Okay, general instruction for individual project report for option 1. Design the response memo for the business environment that effectively communicates a professional response to the party requesting the work in the assignment memo. The response memo shall be succinct but adequate, as well as originally composed, professionally prepared, and following the common format. The complete response memo must be limited to 1 page. Design the technical memo to outline details of the approach and quantitative methods utilized in obtaining the results presented in the response memo. In other words, the response memo gives the answer. The technical memo gives how you worked it, how you got the answer. The technical memo shall contain enough detail to support, describe, and adequately generate the technical proportion of the response memo. The technical memo should be succinct but adequate, as well as originally composed, professionally prepared, and following the common format. The complete technical memo must be limited to 1 page. Each memo must be self-contained, don't refer to something outside, complete, descriptive, succinct, and limited to 1 page. Okay, the composition of memos should reflect their different audiences, objectives, and scenarios as defined in the assignment memo. And I'm going to go through the 3 assignment memos in a moment. Although the response memo and technical memo are self-contained, they must correspond. Any item presented in the response memo must be supported in the technical memo. In other words, the response memo is giving the answer. Here's what you need to know. The technical memo is here is how I got that answer that I put in the response memo. That's what I mean by coordinate and correspond with one another. Okay, they need to coordinate. In other words, don't say something and you don't really support it, or the technical memo is solving a problem that's not in the response memo. That they need to go together. Consider the response memo as an external communication document designed for the business environment, and the technical memo as an internal support document for internal review and support for the response memo. Okay, for option 2, the originally composed individual report shall demonstrate the student's knowledge of the resource and ability to effectively communicate the knowledge appropriate for a business environment. Again, to communicate in a business environment, not academic, but a business environment. And what I mean by that is you tell them what they need to know. You don't tell them everything about the subject. You say, here's what I found. Okay, the emphasis can focus on more depth on a topic introduced in the course, present alternative techniques or approaches beyond the course, or apply a technique to a problem as a case study. The individual project report must be 3 pages. Okay, for option 1, let's go through some of these a little bit. Should you choose option 1, these memos. If you choose option 1, select only one of the assignment memos to work for your individual project report. The first one's forecasting, the second one's aggregate planning, the third one's inventory. Okay, so assignment memo number 1. There's a date, Associates Consulting, Speedy Pizza. So let's go through this. If you choose assignment memo number 1, Allison and Andrew Anderson have successfully operated Speedy Pizza in a popular ski area in Colorado. Although they believe sales have been increasing for both dine-in and carry-out, the carry-out business seems to be presenting problems. They have asked us for a monthly forecast of the carry-out pizza for next fiscal year, along with some insights of the nature of the demand for the carry-out pizza beyond next fiscal year that would help them with their planning. Now that right there, let me underline that. And actually let me bold it. That right there is what they requested. Okay, first of all, a monthly forecast. Actually, let me take the bold off. Take the bold off and put it here. A monthly forecast. So in your response memo, give them a monthly forecast, along with some insights of the nature of the demand. The second thing is insights. So if you don't give a monthly forecast, you don't do the memo right. It's wrong. If you don't have insights about the nature of the future, then that's wrong. And I'll talk about that in just a second, what they are. And so there, and I gladly agreed, knowing that my associates could do it and do it well. The Andersons have indicated to me that the demand for dine-in slightly fluctuates throughout the year, but seems to be quite predictable. However, demand for carry-out seems to be highly volatile all year. This has caused them supply problems since they plan for deliveries in advance because of their mountain location. Supply problems, and let me bold that. That's why they're asking us. So they want a forecast and insight to help them with their supply problems. There's your response memo. They have provided us with the following carryout pizza, and there it is, 4 years worth of data, January through December. Analyze the Anderson's problem, prepare a response memo to them adequately and appropriately responding to the request. Prepare a separate technical memo to me presenting the details of your approach and analysis. So now what I want to do here before I leave this, let me show you how to go about it. Here's how, and this is like in the homework, in the forecasting homework, but let me just go through it. And suppose I was on your team. You're going to prepare the memos. I'm going to help with the analysis. And so what I'm going to do is take this right here, Control-C and copy it. And then let me bring up Excel. Here's Excel. Come down here a ways and say, okay, boom, there it is. Okay, don't need that. Okay, and so there we are, and there it is. Let me take this out. We don't need that. Now, the first thing you do, remember, is plot the data. And there's the data. So let's just highlight all of this. Come up to Insert. Come over here to Charts. And let's come down here to, let's do a stacked chart. And there's a stacked chart. 2017 is the blue, 2018 is the orange, 2019 is the gray, 2020 is that gold. And notice this is a stacked, so every year is stacked on one another, but notice the pattern repeats every year. So this is a year. The pattern repeats. When the pattern repeats every year, that's a seasonal component. So we know we have a seasonal component, but also notice every year it increases. So we have a trend component. So so you might want to use this in your memo. Maybe you will, maybe you won't. It's up to you. But that's a stack plot. What if we want a line plot? Well, we can still do that here. A little trick here. Right here we say equal this. This is equal to the next year. And then copy this over. So now when I start copying this down, I'm going to copy the January through December, January through December, January through December, and I'll copy these in a row. I'm going to create a line plot. First, I copy this down and notice what happens. Right here it's 0. Don't need this. Delete that. But now this right here, Control, Shift, down arrow, that right there represents my time series. Then I come up here to Insert, let's do the same thing. Yeah, there it is. And there's my line plot. So you might want to use a line plot in there. Well, wait a minute. Let's see here. This is 5, 10, 15, 20. Tell you what, let's do. Let's double click this axis. Let's say the minimum is 0, maximum is 40. That's okay. But the units, the major units is 5. No, we want it to be 12. 12 return because 12 is a year, right? Actually, let's make it stop at 36. The maximum is 36. There we go. And so we go right to 36. So there's a line plot. No. Let's don't do that. Let's go to 48. Why? Because this next year is going to be the forecast. Okay. Now here you can see the trend, and every year it goes up, down, up, up, down, up, and so you can see the pattern repeating every year. Whoops. There's only 3 years here. I lost a year there somewhere. So let's do it again. Here's the first year, second year, third year, fourth year. Yep, it's all there. Okay. Let's do this again. Insert. There we go. There we go. So there's our line plot. It starts at 2080 and it ends down here at 5981, and there's 5981 right there. Okay, so we have it. Starts at 1 through 12, 24, 36. So we have a line plot if we want it. We have a stack plot and we have a line plot. So however you want to do it, okay, whatever works for you. But then once you have it, let's move these out of the way. I'll just delete them. We can bring them back. Now this right here is where we do our slope and the intercept and the forecast. And so right there's where the forecasts are going to be. Let me box these in. And I'll let you do that. Here's where you get the slopes, the intercept, and the forecast. Okay. In other words, you can move these out of here. Move these up one. There we go. Move these up. This is 1, 2, 3, 4 to simplify. We want the forecast for 5. We could just do the forecast. We could just do it this way. Just the intercept of the y's are these, comma the x's are these, and F4 to freeze, and then plus slope, the y's, comma the x's, F4 to freeze, times the actual time period. Well, I'm going to put it there, okay, then return. But this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so this is going to be, oh, I made a mistake. This should be 5. This is for 5. Sorry about that. And there's our forecast. And then I'm going to copy this down. And there's your forecast. Don't put 0.5, just to the units digit there. Okay? So there's our forecast right there. So I could bring these over and plot that, and I plot the forecast there. So I'll let you do all that stuff. I'm getting into a little bit more than I should. That's the first one. Now the second one here is the Crawford Manufacturing. This is Aggregate Planning. Crawford Manufacturing is preparing their monthly production plan for one of their major products for next year and requested assistance in determining possible plans of action. They have traditionally used minimum cost production strategy. So they have traditionally used a minimum cost production. Okay. But members of the planning committee would like to compare the current production strategy, the minimum cost, with alternative production plans. 2 have been suggested. One is simply levelized capacity. Okay, they want to compare the minimum cost with levelized capacity. Some feel varying labor has the potential of lowering morale. The second alternative is a chase demand. So some people want to see chase demand. They say, okay, let's compare this minimum cost with level capacity and chase demand, and let's do a comparative analysis. Some argue that the control of inventory is a major advantage that should be considered. The president would like to see a comparative analysis, and what that means is you're comparing all 3, comparing them in your memo to the client, which is the president of this company, before making a decision. She requested the analysis from us, and I said we could present it to her, a clear and quality analysis. Okay, So we want to do a chase demand, level capacity, and compare that with the minimum cost. Crawford has provided us with the following information. The labor standard is 80 minutes per unit. Unit being item, unit of production. Regular time labor cost is 30 per hour. Okay, whoa. Well, 30 per hour is the same thing as 30 times 80 minutes per hour. 80 divided by 60 is how many hours per unit. So that right there, that number right there is going to be cost per unit of production, because the hours and units, if you divide 80 by 60, you get hours. Okay, so that times hours per unit gives you dollars per unit. So we're going to be using this down below here. Carrying cost of 10 items per month. Well, 10 items per month is the same as 10 times 12 items per year. Just multiply by 12 months. Okay, and the FTE standard is 520 hours per quarter. Okay, well, that's per quarter. We want a month, so we have to multiply this. The operate on a 40-hour work week, 52-week year, 12 months in a year. So this 520 FTE standard will be 520 times 4. That's what it is in a year, divided by 12. That's going to be hours per month. So you go to year and come back to month. For planning purposes, next year they will begin the end of the year with 2,000. That's the beginning ending inventory. So you did that here. Here's the beginning inventory, ending inventory, right here. 2,000, 2,000. Did that. But they do not want their inventory to drop below 100. Oh, okay. So the minimum ending inventory is 100. So they don't want it to go to 0. 100 is the minimum. Okay, I would. That's what they said. I would say I probably want a little bit more than 100, but maybe they're trying to keep the cost down. They don't want to carry too much inventory. But you want to guard against risk of stock out within a month. Since labor hours per week are flexible, there is no hiring and firing cost considered. But there is a maximum limit of 45 FTEs per month. And you can see it right here. The max FTE is at 45. You can't go over that. Well, I've done that over here, and I put that constraint in. I put that constraint on my labor, this constraint on my inventory, and I calculated, for this analysis, we only considered cost due to direct labor cost and inventory carrying. And so I have included the minimum cost plan for you to compare with the level and chase. Okay, so I put this in this memo before I gave it to the group. So I've already solved it, and there it is. That's the minimum cost. What is this? 2.3447 million. $2,344,700. And notice we're only considering the direct labor cost, which is this, and the inventory cost, which is this. The direct labor cost is $40 per unit. Well, let's see here. 30 times 80 over 60. Well, let's see. 80 over 60. Well, the 10s cancel out. 8 over 6. Well, 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 3 is 6. The 2 cancel out. 4 over 3. Oh, well, 3 goes into 30, 10, and 10 times 4 is 40. So that's going to be 40. So that's how much it costs direct labor to produce that many items. So these are the two costs we're looking at. And so go back and do level capacity. Don't go over 45. Chase demand. Don't go over 45. And when you do that, then we can then you compare. And I'll let you do that. Compare inventory. Compare labor. Compare cost down here. Compare your carrying cost, ordering cost, inventory levels, whatever. Okay. Now the third one is an inventory. The inventory manager of a warehouse for DD Duraround Tire, it's a tire company, has typically ordered a quantity of 800 each time an order is needed for one of their popular tires to take advantage of the discount provided by the supplier and save the company money. Okay, save the company money. That's key right there. Save the company money. Okay, the following discount schedule has just been received reflecting recent changes in the discount percentages. The manager still maintains that an order of 800 is the best since it will save the company the most money because of the quantity discount. So notice 800 is a maximum here with a maximum discount of 10%. So he bought all those tires for $72 per tire. Okay, assume this tire is expected to have a constant demand of 1,600 tires over the next year, and the inventory carrying cost is determined as a percentage of the acquisition cost as is usual for quantity discount problems. Well, if the annual demand is 1,600 and he orders 800 each time, he only orders 2 times a year. Right? He only orders 2 times a year. Okay? And so really, put down here, his order frequency equals 2 per year. Right? He orders 800. Demand is 1,600. Well, 800, 2 times is 1,600. So he only orders 2 times a year. Okay? And although they do not know the unit ordering cost or unit carrying cost per dollar of inventory, they have reported the total cost for this inventory item for next year. Okay. Well, also, there's no safety stock. So let me just do this. So the average inventory level, which is Q over 2, equals 800 divided by 2, which equals 400. So the average inventory is 400 through the year. So we know our order frequency, we know our average inventory. We don't know what our unit costs are, though. Okay. Well, down here it says a total ordering cost of 180, a total carrying cost of 18,933 for last year with a lot size of 800, an acquisition cost of 72 up here. And so right here, let me say this. Total ordering cost for last year was 180. Total carrying cost last year was 18,933. Okay. And that was for a lot size of 800. And if you ordered 800, then C was going to equal 72. Right? Because if you order 800, then you're gonna pay $72 for it. So that's C. Okay. Now they don't know the unit cost, but they do know the total costs. Oh, okay. Well, what does the total cost equal? It equals the F times the unit ordering cost. Right? Well, if we know F, which is 2, okay, we'll then put a 2 in here, and 180 equals 2 C sub O, solve for C sub O. Well, I think you and I can do this. C sub O, simply 180 over 2. What's 180 over 2? It's 180 divided by 2, which equals 90. So the cost is 90. What about the carrying cost? Well, we know what is the carrying cost then? Well, the carrying cost, total carrying cost, equals Q over 2 times I times C. Because remember, there's no safety stock. So we have cost per dollar. I as a cost per dollar. Well, we know what Q over 2 is, 400. We know TCC is this. So now we can solve for I. And so we can see it there. It's 18933, right? Divided by, let's see, 400 in C divided by 400 times C, which is 72. And whatever that is. So you can figure that out. So now you know your carrying cost. So you can pull it out from the information they gave us. Now the unit costs from these unit costs we just calculated will apply to next year since no significant change in operations has happened. The president of the company would like to know if the manager is correct in his reasoning. So there's the request. Is the manager correct in his reasoning that the greatest lot size will have the greatest savings? Well, yes, as far as the discount is concerned. But what about the carrying cost and ordering cost? You're carrying a lot of inventory. Or whether another order might be better and why. Okay? Now, the president, Ms. Dawn Deertracker, not the manager, has contacted us to provide her this information to be presented at the next planning meeting. Since she has been newly appointed to make changes in the company and the manager has historically set the inventory policies, she has demonstrated trust in our ability to provide a quality analysis by retaining us as one of her first consulting projects. Now, the reason I put this in here is, first of all, she's newly appointed. The manager has historically been doing this. She has trusting us with her first consulting project. So we want to make sure we do this correct and do it right and do it well. And don't come down on one side or the other. It's comparative analysis. It's not telling them what to do. It's comparative. And then we're going to say, here's what we found, and we present it to them. We don't want to, because the manager is saving money on the discount, but there may be carrying cost or ordering cost that may offset that savings. So we have to just present the analysis and let them make the decisions. So this is not telling them what to do. This is giving them a comparative analysis. We want to be careful, because if we do this right, then we'll have more consulting projects. Prepare a one-page response memo to the president. Now this is to the president of the company. It's not to me. It's not to the manager. It's to the president, that adequately addresses her request. Is the manager correct in his reasoning? With content suitable to be useful in the planning meeting. Address the reasoning given by the manager. Address the reasoning given by the manager in your response memo, and prepare a separate technical memo to me outlining the details of your analysis, how you do the quantity discount. Okay. Also, another quantity is better and why. So one, the manager's reasoning, and then another quantity is better and why. Those are the two things in this memo, should you choose to do this. Okay. Well, that's pretty much a good introduction, and I'll leave that there for the projects. And if anyone wants, and collaborate with other students, work together, ask me during office hours. And my office hours now are Thursday and Friday at 7, but you can ask me over this next couple of weeks. And I'll help you as much as I can, because you're the one doing the writing. You don't have to do all the calculations or thinking or coming up with ideas. You just do the writing. And so I'll help you with it. And so work together and come up with projects that are professional for a business environment to demonstrate your knowledge of how to solve these problems. So that's all I have for these project instructions. Between now and the next time I see you, take care.